Steven Universe?
Hello and welcome once again to my side of YouTube. This is Luther574. I don't know why, but I feel like talking about Steven Universe. It's another one of these shows I've been getting into. Well, it's funny because when I first heard about Steven Universe coming to Cartoon Network, I thought to myself, okay, this is just going to be another show that's going to make me wish TV wouldn't be around anymore. But after a few months went by, I hung out with my friend. I went over his house, and every time we were to eat, he would turn the TV on, and we would catch a little episode of it. I would catch a glimpse, I would watch it. Probably, I saw 2 or 3 episodes when I was over there, and I didn't really get into it until I started actually watching from the first series to the second series on my laptop. And then I got very interested in it, and it's all about, well, first I'm going to say, this is a TV show, a cartoon that you would find on Cartoon Network, and it's very, very, very funny, very, it's almost like a roller coaster of emotions sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. Some episodes are wacky, some episodes are story related, and some episodes are foreshadowing future events. So I'm going to tell you all about what Steven Universe is. Steven Universe is a show about, you could call them aliens since they come from space, the gems, or the first batch of gems that we know about. They're called the crystal gems, and they are protecting the Earth from corrupted gems. Corrupted gems used to be like them, or they just used to be gems in general until they became corrupted, and Steven's mother, Rose Quartz, had been sent there to take care of a mission, and ended up that she was a very caring person. She was a very caring gem, and she noticed what they were doing wasn't was not safe for the other living creatures on Earth. And when she first thought, when I said creatures, I meant she wanted to make sure that the humans on Earth were okay, because she cares about all things, every living thing on anything. She believed there was a way to save everything and protect everything, which is why her power is basically shields. As the first episode of Steven Universe, he sang a pretty neat song about cookie cats, which was not a chocolate, which was a ice cream cookie treat, ice cream cookie sandwich treat. And it turns out that when he ate the treat, and he felt all these emotions from enjoying this treat that he thought was no longer around. He felt a very strong emotion and has summoned his shield, his mother's shield. Because all the gems, they have different weapons. We have garnet, amethyst, and pearl. Garnet I'm just assuming since it is June 3rd, soon to be 4th of July. Wait, July. It's July, right? Yeah. Not June, it's July. So, I'm gonna guess some people have already watched, some people have already watched it, so I'm just going to mention all these gems. They have abilities, they can morph, shapeshift. Pearl has shown that she could make um, multiple copies of herself, not physical, but they're like images, I would say. And we have Garnet. Garnet, who is basically the most agile, most strength of the team, and then we have Amethyst. Amethyst is a Earth-created gem from the Kindergarten. The Kindergarten is another gem project that the crystal gems were trying to take care of, and so on, so on. Then we have Garnet. Garnet has gauntlets on both hands, and everybody else has just one weapon. The only reason Garnet has gauntlets on each hand is because she has gems on each hand. Amethyst, gem right here, not on the neck, but you know, like right between. Then we have Pearl, which is right on her forehead. Of Steven Quartz Universe. His gem is right on his belly button. But Garnet has two gems. She has garnets, or no, one is a ruby, and one is a sapphire. Why? I thought it was just a cool thing they added to her in general. But nope. In a later episode, it turns out that she is a fusion. Luther. What the hell is a fusion? I don't even watch this. Well, I'll tell you. A fusion is basically when two gems were to either dance or to just have a strong enough emotion that they can just fuse and create a stronger version of themselves. But in this situation, Garnet is basically the holder and the creation of Ruby and Sapphire's love. There is only one point in the series that they almost separated, only because of the fact that Garnet and Steven were trying to do something, and they ran across all these hands, which Garnet was pretty freaked out, and Steven didn't know what was going on. And by time we see Garnet again, she's breaking down crying. Now, before I tell you exactly why, it's all this stuff is based on fusion, and when she poofed the hands that were together, we saw two different gems stuck together. So in the Kindergarten, apparently they were making experiments, experimenting on making forced fusion gems. And this is to the point, this is where Garnet is. She's trying to hold back the abomination of hands. And before the hands, before the when the gem rises, it glows and it transforms. Before it transforms into the monster it is, you can hear all these gems screaming. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 gems. No, 5 humanoid shapes before they turn into this monster of a thing. It's basically a whole bunch of hands. Hand monster. So she was holding it back, trying to do what she can, but instead it turns out she is talking with herself. She's talking to herself. At this point, this is the very first time. Actually, I think this is the second time, but it's Garnet. It's not just Garnet, it's Ruby and Sapphire. They're talking with each other because on Earth there was a battle. It was a war because of rose quartz, and it was because she wanted to protect the Earth. She wanted to make sure nothing happens to the humans. I don't know if my voice isn't all that loud or not, so, you know. Okay, it was a war. Everybody lost a decent amount of gems. So, we're going back to Garnet. Garnet is the embodiment of Ruby and Sapphire. Ruby and Sapphire were talking, they were scared, they were sad, and it got to the point that she was crying. Now you have to understand, in this show, Garnet is the leader because the actual leader is now gone. Not gone, but her power is basically her son's power, and Garnet is gonna have, since Garnet has almost, I don't want to say the most power because they're all equal except for the fact that Garnet is a fusion. This is going a little bit into depth because I was explaining the gems, I was explaining Garnet. Garnet at one point fainted and almost turned back into Ruby and Sapphire, but Steven snapped her. It snapped. Steven had said something that she had snapped back to her senses and poofed the giant abomination. And yeah. And now we're going to go back to Amethyst. Wait, I think I already talked about Amethyst. Amethyst is one of those gems that were born at the kindergarten, but Pearl's ability. I was talking about their abilities, and then I got into evolution. Not evolution, their fusion. Pearl is basically a very elegant, a very smart, a very compatible fighter. She's not all that great with words, only for the fact that she's not all that keen with humans and with how they really think. And now we're going to Steven Quartz Universe. Well, that's Steven Quartz Universe, Rose Quartz. They have the same power. But, except for the fact that his mother had healing tears, Steven does not. He has saliva that heals. Saliva. Not all that great. I mean, well, it's not that it's not great, it's just saliva. And Steven himself has been seen fused with his girl crush, Connie. Connie is another character, and I am trying to... Never mind. Never mind. Yeah. I was about to say, there's a possibility that she might have something to do with the gems, but there's a possibility that she's not. But there's one mysterious character. Onion. He's a, I don't know how I can say this without being, rude, but he is a albino white character. He has been shown to be the only human character without ears, and he has never spoken a word except for when he had talked with his father, which wasn't even proper English. That's basically what it seemed like. But he has an older brother that speaks perfectly fine. Well, and now I want to go into what ifs and theories. I have a theory that there's a possibility that Stephen, being a half human, half gem, that at some point he just might snap and might turn into a full gem. Who knows, he might have the ability to turn into a full gem and back into a half human. But for him to actually learn anything, he has his lion that has something to do with his mother, because his mother Rose, of course, is pink, and her room is pink, the shield is pink, the bubble is pink. I don't know if it should be called a bubble or a barrier. It's more of a barrier because it protects. There was a point in the series that a harpoon had struck it and bounced right off and made a boat sink. God. But he has the ability to open her room, and that room is now his room. At first he could not control it. Now he can control it. It might be too easy for them to do this, but I think for a fact that if Steven Universe were to possibly create his mother in the room, she could possibly teach him about his heritage, the gems, and how to use his abilities more effectively. And not just that, explain why she chose a lion. But there's a possibility that she can ask his room to create Rose. It might end up being like his situation with when he brought Connie into the room. They were recreating a scene in a book they had read, and they wanted to reenact it in the room. And, well, let's just say that didn't end up very well, only for the fact that when she told him she was busy, she wasn't done yet getting into costume, he said, "Come on, I want to see you." And since the room and him when he says, "I want to," or "Could you do something," the room reacts. So at that point, he had created another Connie without realizing. Which was very convincing that it wasn't a real Connie at first. That it wasn't a fake Connie at first, because it spoke complete sentences, and when he gave the creation, the ability to think for itself, it didn't go away when he asked it to. So there's a chance now that he had experienced and he knows what not to do. But if he were to do that by creating his mother, there's a possibility, there's a possibility that it could be a short cut to improving what he already has. But, you know. Oh, and there's a possibility that this Jasper fellow, yeah, I didn't mention him at all. I'm mentioning him now. Well, everybody's calling him a she. I think it's a him. But whatever, there's a very strong possibility that Jasper is a fusion. But the way he spoke of fusion in one of the episodes, he said fusion is only a tactic that weak gems use to get stronger. But remember, as I said, Amethyst was created on Earth, and there's a possibility, well, this is what I heard on YouTube, and I think that it may be possible. Apparently, Jasper could possibly be a fusion without him even realizing, even though his nose, where his nose is basically where his gem is. There's a possibility on the other side of that gem could be a different gem, because he's the only character that has two colors on his skin. He has orange and red stripes. Now remember, like I said before, at the kindergarten when Garnet was with Steven, they were attacked by all these hands, abominations, and when they poofed them, they were gems connected to each other. So like Garnet, even though she has two gems visible for everyone to see, this new enemy, Jasper, that has a nose, a crystal nose, on the other side. Oh, my eye. Well, this has been Luther 574, and this is a video of Steven Universe. This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like button. Hit the like button. And if this is the very first video you've ever seen of that I've posted, hit that subscribe button. If you want to talk about Steven Universe and possibly share any of your ideas or what could possibly happen, share it with me. I want to hear. Like, as I said before, Steven Universe was one of those episodes that I thought wasn't all that great until I actually watched it and actually understood everything. Steven Universe is, like, I don't want to sound like I'm addicted to it or I'm crazy about it, but it's one of those shows. I don't want to say Twilight, because Twilight is like a big I don't like it, but it's almost like Twilight, only for the fact that it has the feels. Yes, I have cried a little bit watching Twilight with one of my exes. This has been Luther 574, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Have fun. Where's the button? Stop.